that sits right behind my chair,
Yeah, it seems to work.
so it makes the green screening a little bit more effective.
Yeah, seems to work. Okay, I video's live, so go live with audio.
Well, we're going live. We don't have to wait 90 seconds for an ad. He doesn't
I
do
don't
all.
do ads, only Greg does the ads.
I know, I know, I know.
Now recording.
Okay. 3, 2. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Brad Wren,
Good evening, everybody.
Michigan Week, David Hall.
It is Michigan week.
On today's show, 2026 Season 3 build teasers. Asher Racing gets personal. New wheels from Cube Controls and SimLab. 5 sim racing tips in 5 minutes. Laguna Seca meltdown. More NVIDIA news, ambient lighting made easy, and a cure for your racing thirst.
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
Before we jump into topics, I'm going to have to go ahead and make an announcement, a little bit of a surprise announcement where I'm afraid we're going to have to put this all out on all the fans. We're going to have to raise the price of our episodes by 10%.
What? I'm outraged.
So do a little math and you can figure out how much that's going to be.
0 times 10%.
The first topic we are going to cover is a little bit more dynamic, not static like iRacing's prices have been for a long time.
That was a bad transition.
And that was a beautiful transition.
But these maps are beautiful. Look, when they put this screenshot out of kind of what it looks like, and they're showing off, of course, my favorite track, the Nürburgring, and they show little dots on the road of where each car is, and there's different colors for different classes, and you can see where they're at on the track visually, and it's kind of a zoomed in track overlay of just the area of the track you're in, which is kind of keen, and they have several different versions here you can pick from.
Yeah, there's a horizontal, which I don't know how you garner a whole lot of information out of that. But then there's the oval one. Like I said, I don't see a safety car noted on here, especially on the oval side. Now, this may not be because it's under green, but that will be the determining factor for me. And you also had the circular one as well, which again, I just I don't know. For me, a quick glance at something, I need to see where the track's at because I know every corner. To look at it in a circle or a horizontal line just tells me nothing.
Right, I
Something
don't get
something
it.
like
I'll never run that ever.
well, I used to have the horizontal line back in the R Factor days as one of my overlays. I don't remember if it was built in or it was an add-on that we had, but we just had that running down at down at the bottom, and it would be running right at the bottom of the windshield, so you could kind of see it the whole time without looking at it. And back then only ran oval, so it was pretty easy to know. It would just kind of let you know how you were, how far ahead or behind you were on the lap. So its advantage from the track map shape is compactness. It can take up a whole lot less space. That would be the main advantage of having it. But yeah, you sacrifice knowing which corner you're in, especially on something like a road course.
So I think I saw somebody mention, I don't remember where, but this is one less third party app I need to run.
It won't be the case for me because it does not have as much information as the JRT track map does. It doesn't tell me who I need to watch for, the guys that I have marked on JRT. So yeah,
Well,
it
you're
don't
kind of an
quite
odd
quite
case,
have
but
enough.
what about the general iRacer? Does this
I
remove a
don't, I
third
don't,
party app?
I don't know. I mean, I run the JRT track map just because I've got JRT running anyway. So for me, it's nothing. it's nothing, and JRT is just so light on system requirements anyway. Um, I, I don't know. I guess so. I mean, there's so many different overlays out there that you could use. Um, but like David said, I mean, there's more information in the other ones because I'm the same way. I have people that are labeled and they show up in different colors, and it makes it a little bit easier.
You can
And
see where your teammates are. You can see where the guy that you need to watch out for. You know, you
yep,
can see all that kind of information.
yep, and JRT has the estimated pit out too, which makes it nice.
Hmm. So, like, if you're in shorter endurance races, or even in a NASCAR road course race, you can see a little yellow dot. That's where you would come out of the pits when if once you pitted, if it was going to be a full stop, and you can use that to guess when it would be a good idea to short pit if you don't need a full tank, and then get more clean track, get less time fighting traffic. Beedoo, beedoo, beedoo.
Call an ambulance or a ambulance. Yeah, so we have a complainer in the forums about the Laguna Seca rescan problem. I don't think it's a problem, but obviously he's making noise and others and with their pitchforks in the forums, and on Twitter. I saw somebody on Twitter raging. Well, get forward, get look forward to the Laguna Seca week to be not filling up splits because nobody's gonna buy this track. I don't know. What do you think, Brad? Is it fair for us to charge for Laguna Seca?
Well, I never paid for it to begin with, so I don't have an issue paying for it. So yeah, this is one of multiple threads. I finally had to stop reading, probably at about the eighth or ninth page, because I was just getting infuriated. Um, yeah, I don't have a problem with paying for this. I mean, look, the state of Laguna Seca is one of the oldest tracks. It doesn't look good. The track is there's been runoff changes, there's been curbing changes, there's been all kinds of changes to this track. I am absolutely willing to pay for a new track because I want an up to date Laguna Seca. Um, when we were at the expo, one of the rigs we got on was running a set of Corsa, and it was Laguna Seca. And the first thing I did, I got off and I looked at William and I was like, "We are so out of date." The iRacing version looks horrible. But look, this is nothing new. I mean, there's a reason we have two Daytonas because they completely rescanned it, and it was as much of a change that they had to put it out. It the license changed, and it is what it is. You don't own any of this. It's a service, and that's what you have got to remember. I mean, I was telling David before we got on. I went back and I was looking at all my old purchases, and I'm like, wow, look at all this stuff that I paid for in 2010, 2011, 2012 that's been updated, 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 updated. And guess what? Cars are still 11.95 and tracks are 14.95. Prices haven't changed in 15 years. Stop complaining.
Look, I think the way people need to look at this is it was a free track under the original deal, but the license with the track between iRacing and the track had to renew. And when they did, if you recall that story, I believe Laguna Seca or the entity that owns it is negotiated some kind of profit sharing or share of the revenue or some kind of fee that iRacing has to pay them to license this content. And that would make sense that iRacing says, yeah, we got to make this paid now because we got costs.
Yeah, so all of us that used to be grandfathered in will have to pay. Um, but being outraged for it is pretty silly. And we were talking in the pre-show about the fact that I've got a Samsung Galaxy 27. I had to buy it. I didn't get to go to Verizon, Mike, your employer. I didn't get to go to them and say, "Hey, I bought a Galaxy 12. Where's my free 27?"
like I said, it's just it's ridiculous. Again, it's a service. You know, it's like think about some of your streaming services. There's movies that come and they go. They'll be on there for a little while because they're paying the license for them, and then that license runs out or whatever it is, and it comes off. Then it comes back and whatnot. It's just I don't know. Like I told David, skip Starbucks, skip 2 trips to Starbucks, and you've paid for it. Again, this is one of the cheapest hobbies, and iRacing hasn't raised their prices in 15 years.
And it's not like you're buying a bloody track from Great Britain that has no markers. That it was an old, something that's not fun to run. This is a world-renowned track, known across the world as one of the best, and it's got that famous corkscrew turn and all that. And so, if you were to buy a track, this would be the track to buy, or one of the tracks to buy. Yeah, I don't get the outrage.
I'd also like to see how many of these guys complaining are sitting in multi-thousand-dollar rigs with their $1,000 phone complaining about $10.
Right.
I bet. I don't know. The threats of it, being low participation on Laguna Weeks, I'm pretty confident will not be the case.
I'm sure it'll end up in the IMSA schedule. Does Real IMSA runs there, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. They ran back there at what, a few weeks ago, month ago, 2 months ago, something like that.
Well, I'm sure iRacing has done the calculation, and I think they're going to be okay. Speaking of calculation, we have a tweet featuring iRacing's new built-in fuel calculator.
Yeah. It's a grid of numbers. It kind of, I don't know, it's not too visually appealing, but it has the info you need. I mean, the one I'll probably be looking at is laps to empty, probably the last 10 or session, and get some kind of average of those two numbers, and then compare that to how many laps are left, kind of thing. I think, just taking a quick glance at it, that's probably how I would use it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I have one that I use that's gives me pretty much all of this information in a much smaller footprint. So unfortunately, I'll probably stay with what I'm using. That's almost the size of one of the black boxes. So I'm not cluttering my screen up with that.
Same. I use the JRT fuel calculation features, and when I'm at an oval where I know where the I guess the distance is a little bit more fluctuatable, I guess. And there's a lot more pit stops under yellow. I put it on an actual auto fuel, which means it won't fill it up towards the end, and I just tell it to do an extra certain amount. Generally, in the IMSA races, because I know exactly how long the race is going to be, I I do it more manually and just use the calculation and do a smaller adjustment. Some of the IMSA races you can get caught out by any of the calculators if something happens to the leader. It can actually make the race where you end up running one more lap than they expected.
So this week I actually found that my fuel calculator in an old app I'm running called Sim Racing Apps that's hasn't updated in years, which Brad reminded me of. It would given me the wrong fuel calcs, and it actually made me make a couple bad choices because I was looking at that. But I also can see the Joel real timing fuel calculator. So I started using that or reverting to that, and now I'm thinking about getting rid of sim racing apps. And maybe I'll take a look at this iRacing built-in one or try it, see what I
Yeah.
think.
I still have sim racing apps installed and running with no overlays just because I like the shift beep and I like its countdown to the pit stall
Right.
better than any other thing. So I run the server and I just don't use any of the overlays. All right. We have a GT3 physics critique, Brad, and I would like to see if how his opinion compares to some of the coverage we saw from Daniel Morad recently.
Yeah, it's the next post here from David Perel. Says, I don't think iRacing GT3 physics are the best. Braking and steering inputs in iRacing have to be way too smooth compared to real life. Way too smooth. I've got lots of experience doing back to backs with a rig on race weekends to validate this. So this is in a response to an ex post from Borozazu. So he said, I interviewed a GT3 driver who said the best physics, though not perfect, are iRacing's. And on YouTube, quite a few people are contradicting him because of it. So, um, I don't know. We've kind of been down this road before. Um, Daniel Morad really, I think, makes a good point that there's things that Assetto Corsa does very well. There's things that iRacing does well. Neither one of them are 100% perfect. If you could probably marry the two together, you'd have something pretty close. Um, but I mean, David goes on to say, he says, to be clear, I still use iRacing for training. He said, although he does say he avoids the GT3s. Jack Hawksworth, GT3 driver at IMSA, chimed in. iRacing GT3 tire model is definitely too sensitive to tire slip, both front and rear, but I prefer this to most other sims where you can overslip the tire and then create bad havocs. And he said, just my take.
That was something I noticed in Le Mans Ultimate is that when we had it running at the expo, you could just incredibly overdrive the cars at Sebring there.
Yeah, I mean, when William and I both, one of the rigs we got on had Laguna Seca, but it was a Setta Corsa. I think it may have been a Setta Corsa Competizione. But the one thing we noticed was just a lot of understeer in the car. Now, again, I don't know what setups in there and whatnot, but definitely as someone who's never driven that sim, you kind of jump into something and you're expecting it to feel like iRacing or what you're used to it feeling like. But just noticed a lot of understeer in the car. But I mean, look, it's no, there's no. I don't think iRacing is perfect. I think they've made a lot of progress with the last few iterations of the tire model, and I think there's enough real world drivers that will say that, and I think gave some feedback. But again, it's never going to be a 1-to-1 comparison. I mean, you look at on the NASCAR side, the sims they've got after every single race, somebody who ran in the race is in the sim trying to help them make the tire model better, the feel of the car, and everything. It's an ever constant, it's an ever changing platform. And there's times where think about the amount of money that the GM spends or Toyota spends on their sim program, and how many times have we heard they get to the track and it's like, yeah, sim was wrong. The sim was just it was wrong.
When I listen to you guys talk about this, it makes me think, maybe iRacing should be have a more proactive project to have uh, a 1 year checkup, or something like we put out a GT3 car, and within a year or a year later, we're going to have a pro driver critique it and give us feedback for adjustments or something. Because it seems to me like, they get it up and running, they probably use a pro driver to help them get it initially, and then it's out there, and then it's a lot of social media talk and forum talk and this and that, and it's nothing official. It's nothing like, oh, we're actually going to make changes based on this. Is iRacing going to see this or hear about it on our show and
Well,
go, you know what, we need to rethink these GT3s?
you just look at it. Not even the people on the social media all agree with him. So are we gonna? Iris is not gonna change the physics of a car on one guy if it's not a majority of the experts' opinions.
Yeah, I mean, in social media, I've never sat in a GT3 car. I couldn't tell you what it feels like. I definitely know I like the feel of the GT3 tire model a lot more now than I used to. Um, I you know, look, they get input from real world drivers. Um, I, I, yeah, I don't know.
My take on the car, don't like the GT3 or the GT4 at all. I was able to win in the GT3 recently, but not the GT4. It was so frustrating. but I just don't like how they drive. I don't know what it is, but I just don't, but like you said, Brad, I don't have any insight. As far as I know, it's perfectly right. It's correct. And I just hate driving.
Well, and I'm complete opposite. I love driving the GT3s, and I don't enjoy driving the GTPs. I just don't enjoy it. I prefer a GT3 car, regardless of which one it is. To me, that's what I'm most comfortable in, and that's to me there's enjoyment in driving that. I get a lot of enjoyment driving the GT4s. I just don't do it very often. But I mean there's variety. You can race what you want to race.
And then I'm weirdly quite the opposite. I don't. The GT3 doesn't suit me, I guess is the best way to say it. And then whereas the GTP does. So the next question, though, Mike, as we move on, is what are the top 5 European racetracks? And when I look at the replies, I think you might like Nord.Lapping's answer.
Yeah, right at the top, and I presume that's because it's the most popular. But iRacing put out on Twitter the question, "What are your top 5 tracks in Europe?" And yeah, Nordlapping put the Nordschleife Tourist drives, the Nürburgring Combined 24, the Nürburgring Combined VLN, and the Nürburgring Combined Long. Great answer. But I was thinking Spa, I was thinking uh, Monza, I was thinking Nordschleife. I forget the other two I picked.
I mean, for me, it would be Silverstone, Spa, Monza, Imola. I'm not a huge fan of Le Mans. Um, just too long. And maybe Barcelona. I just don't run well there.
Hockenheimring, Hungaroring,
Hockenheim's not bad.
Le Mans, I think would be in my list.
All right, Brad, let's feature another sim rig store. Not a sim rig store, more like a. Did I skip one? Every freaking week, man. Wait, no.
Yes, you
Do
did.
it. Then I must need to refresh.
It's been in there the whole time. Should be the BMW Hybrid Evo. So
Nah.
another teaser from
Yeah, I had
iRacing.
it was not on my refresh. My notes were out of date. So yeah, we do have a video teaser of the BMW M Hybrid Evo. And I probably should have watched this one, but it wasn't on the script when I was watching all the videos earlier.
Well, when I watched it, my first question is, am I gonna have to buy this, David, when we run it in the 24 at Daytona?
If you don't
Don't
own it, you'll have to
y-
buy it.
you
No, I
already
already
own it?
own one of these.
Yeah, we're getting it. We're not getting charged for this one. We're
Oh, it's a free.
grandfathered in.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean they've rescanned it. They've made all kinds of changes to the visuals and to the to how it drives and everything. And no, they're not charging iRacing. iRacing's not charging us for it. Imagine that.
What a value. It's a great car. I mean, we picked it to run the 24 recently, and I ran a lot of practice with it, and I think we had a good race.
Yeah, it looks good. It's got the nose is tapered down some. Doesn't have the big uh like it did previously. Those big like nose BMWs right there at the front.
It really stinks that the Majors 24 is this weekend, and then we get the new BMW.
The timing's just a little off. Yeah.
All right, now we can talk about the Outlaw Motor Speedway in Ohio, Brad.
Yeah, so one of our listeners sent me this, Will Weaver. So he's in Ohio, and I think he's been there. But yeah, just want to kind of give them a shout out. So they've got multiple static rigs, motion rigs. Looking at their website, all kinds
Happy
of stuff
hour
that goes.
specials.
Yeah, they got happy hour. They do leagues. You can do all kinds of different stuff throughout the week. You can buy bundles, do unlimited racing and stuff. So pretty neat. So if you're in Ohio, I mean, look, we keep seeing these things crop up. We went to Sim Racing Barrington last year and the Sim Gaming Expo, and we had a good time. So um, more and more are popping up around the country.
Look, I think to be successful they gotta mix the food and alcohol with the sim racing. Because these sim centers that don't do the food and beverage, I think are missing out on getting the audience in. I think that's the mix. Like when we went to that sim racing Barrington, we all sat around a table. We were all having drinks. There was appetizers, I think, available. But there was music, pumping like DJ music or dance music. Nobody was really dancing, but a lot of people were sim racing, and they drew in a pretty big crowd. And so I think that might be a good mix. This place in Ohio appears to be just that, where they have food and drink and sim racing. Pretty cool.
Well, I don't think you can be financially feasible doing just the sim rigs. I mean, a large part of the profit is the food and alcohol.
That place in Tempe I went to right after they opened, I forget the name of it. They had no food and beverage at all, just sim rigs.
All right, Mike, I always hear you about trying to keep finding your stats. Does stats for iRacing help?
Well, we got a new source, which I'm always hopeful for. Um, and look, I think I was lamenting in the group chat this week. Look, I just want to open Chat GPT app and say, how many starts do I have at the Nordschleife? Or how many starts or how many wins do I have in the NASCAR iRacing series over 13 years? Or some random question and get a quick answer. And so this unfortunately is not that, but I think I was lamenting in the chat. Look, we have 250,000 members in iRacing. Surely one of these is some kind of AI genius that can fix it where it'll do what I want, right? Is it possible?
I don't know if it is. I mean, look, so this is another stats website, very similar to a lot of the other ones that have come out. But I guess what what bothers me is it's why does it take all of the members to have to put this stuff together? This should be something that is built in, completely run by iRacing, and be done. Have access to every stat that you got. It's all there somewhere. If all these guys can glean this stuff and they can pull this, you can't tell me that iRacing doesn't have the availability with the size of the staff they have now is to dedicate one person. I don't. I mean, this is probably not a team doing this. Dedicate somebody to putting some sort of stat site integration or something to where we can go find stuff and find it easily.
Look, get Claude AI and buy some tokens and have Claude do it. I mean, seriously. I mean, there's companies that are using AI to build code and they're doing it quickly and efficiently. And so, like you said, Brad, there's no excuse. We have these shitty stats, and that's exactly what we have. When I go into the stats, and try to answer any of those questions I just asked. Guess what? It'll take you a half hour to figure out the answer because you got to go looking at all these different things. Yeah, it's very frustrating that because racing is about statistics. It's kind of like baseball. You got the baseball averages, the runs per inning, all this different stuff that you track in baseball and with statistics. So, look, I can go on Chat GPT and ask, hey, the Arizona Diamondbacks, how are they doing, and get some stats on them instantly. And I think iRacing really needs to figure out a proper API so at least a third party can do it correctly, or they need to get it together and do it internally. I hate raging about this, but it's just ridiculous.
Well, the stats have gotten even, I mean, more in depth, and especially like on the NASCAR side now. I mean, every week guys are rated on their offense, their defense, their restarts, their blocking and all that stuff. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of stats that are being monitored and managed every single week, and then teams are looking at that, and to help understand it. But yeah, I mean, look, if I haven't, if I'm curious about a NASCAR stat, there's multiple places I can go, and within a few minutes, I can find almost any racing stat, really for almost the history of NASCAR within minutes. You just can't tell me that stuff's not there.
Well, that to your point. if you put that in Chat GPT, Brad, your NASCAR question, it has access to all those sources you just mentioned, and you'll have the answer instantly. But that's really what I want. I want an AI agent that can take stats questions that will answer them. Should be simple.
You might look into OpenClaw. But you have to give it access to things on your computer. It can
Yeah,
basically
I'm
be an
not that
AI
kind of
agent
guy.
for
I'm not the guy to
you.
make an AI agent. But I know there's somebody listening to this that is. And if you're that guy, do your brother a favor, man. Hit me up and I will buy you a beer if you can build me a AI agent that will do stats.
Beer for AI.
Title idea. Write that one down.
All right. Professor Cam is our next video. That's Dave Cam. I don't think his real last name is Cam, but we'll call him Dr. Cam for the purposes of this video. This is a nice, quick, short hit with 5 sim racing tips in 5 minutes. And the first one, he talks about how weight transfer and vehicle dynamics changes the way your car handles, and he makes a big deal about making sure that you're not pushing the brake and the gas at the same time, because that can transfer a lot of extra heat into the brakes. And if you're running any kind of hybrid system, also it actually jacks up the hybrid system.
Tip.
Uh, Tip two is don't rush your inputs. Try to be smooth on this. I find this myself really important in the BMW, because if I'm getting on the gas when I have the wheel turned too much, it will spin out.
Yeah, don't stab it. Be smooth.
Number three, use all the track. You know, you need to maximize your space by using the full width of the track, including curbs, right up to the track limits. So yeah, this is one that I have to constantly remind myself, especially on the road course side, is the track is out there. You need to use it. And if you need to take a wider arc in, use what's there. A lot of times, just doing that, changing your approach. You make adjustments on your entry, changes your apex. You can pick up a lot of time. So
Uh, Now on the curbs, use the curbs. Only some cars can eat the curbs. I At the Nürburgring, there's certain cars, if you touch the curbs at all, you're dead. And so you once you figure that out, you'll stay off of them. But
yeah, but
if
those
you're in
those
the
are like those are like 12-inch curbs.
right, but like you're in a Toyota GR86 or the BMW M2 or something like that, it'll eat those curbs. You just totally fly over 'em. So yeah, it depends on the car, but he is right. Yeah.
The fourth one is something that really needs to be. iRacing needs to find some kind of way to incentivize this. Is focus on survival at the start. Um, and you can go in and try to be super careful and still just get eaten alive. In fact, sometimes I get hit from behind because I'm being too careful. Um, but it's okay if you lose a position or two in the beginning of the track, because a lot of those guys who blast by you are going to be wrecked before the lap's even complete.
Yeah, we've
And
seen that
then,
before in ovals where oh, we'll let this guy go, and later on, yeah, he's wrecked.
well, yeah, it takes a little bit longer in the ovals, but um, we saw it in the majors race. I had a couple of guys at Watkins Glen in the in not in the majors, the mech race, in the prototypes that just went blasting by us, and then there were two multiple wrecks, and suddenly we're in seventh place out of like 15 cars. So, and then the last tip: watch faster drivers. Uh, there's YouTube videos, or you can go in and ghost them. You just pay attention to where they turn and what they do.
And a little bit of bonus advice, and guys, look, we talk about hardware over here, and we joke about spending my money, spending Mike's money, spending everybody's money. But Dave does say, look, just don't go into debt over upgrading your sim racing gear. The path to upgrades can be expensive, but it doesn't always improve your lap times. That's going to come with skill. But look, it's you know, I have no issue with people spending money and upgrading stuff, but you don't need to go into debt just to get a better wheel or a better set of pedals.
You know what used to chap my hide a lot too was when people would buy they would use their regular money, their paycheck, whatever, and buy into sim racing, buy some hardware. A month later, it's on Facebook Marketplace because they need a little cash to make rent. Look, if you have to sell sim racing equipment that you bought to make your bills, you shouldn't be buying sim racing equipment.
Amen.
Well, you know who probably doesn't have to buy his sim racing equipment is Steven Wilson.
He got a sponsor? Oh, he's a Coke driver. All right. He won the race. Echo Park Speedway. I didn't get to see it, guys, but claims his third win there, and he's back to victory lane. I don't think anyone is surprised about Steven Wilson.
Yep. So this puts him fourth on the all-time win list. So I didn't get to watch this either, but we did. There's a quick post here on X, but some of the highlights I did see, there was a very big wreck at the very beginning. Big wreck. So I don't have it on the script here, but we've seen some posts on X and social media this week of some upset Coke drivers calling out other drivers, and I think I asked the group, I'm like, whoa. I thought that was against the sporting code.
Yeah, but it's on Twitter. Yeah, one guy calling out another. Yeah, I think we all think it's against the Spartan code, but yeah, these guys are getting steamed. Obviously, maybe it was part of that big wreck. I don't know. We didn't watch it, but yeah, that's what happened.
Stephen Wilson took the win, followed by Daniel Falkingham, Connor Yershak, Malik Ray was fourth, and then Zach Novak was fifth. Looking at the playoff standings right now, following the second race, Stephen Wilson is in the lead. Bobby Zelensky is in second. Connor Yershak third. Christopher Hill fourth. Tied for fifth is Vicente Salas, and then Seth DeMerchant.
All right. Did they not get the word that there are no playoffs anymore?
There still is in the Coke Series.
Shame.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we need to get a hold of Mark Martin. Let him fix this one too.
He probably. I don't even think he has a sim racing rig. He when he retired, as far as the driving side of it, he was done. Real hard done.
He's got his coach.
Wait a second. Which time?
Oh,
The last time.
Oh, okay. Because he only retired a few times.
Well, the first time he was just trying to get free time to watch his uh, son come up in racing, and then once his son decided that wasn't for him, that's when he kind of came back full time. So was it his first or second or third time retiring? I don't know, but we do have something else happening for the third consecutive year, Brad.
Yep, got a post from iRacing on X. So for the third consecutive year, iRacing and the FIA are pleased to announce the FIA F Esports Global Championship presented by Moza. So again, racers had the opportunity to compete for their share of $35,000 prize pool. So race schedule is October. Got a race in October. Looks like we got then 3 in November. So 4 weeks. The F4. I'm guessing there's probably going to be some sort of time trial to get into this. That would
no,
be my
I think
guess.
I think what they did before, they have these four different regional F4 series that run every other hour or every hour, and they just take the point leaders, I think, out of those. I think it's the way it works. But this reminds me about the F4. I mean, I think this is maybe one of the best cars on iRacing as far as thrill to drive and that kind of thing. And I haven't driven it in a while. Maybe I should go back to it. I've been kind of having a mixed relationship with the Green Hell lately. It's so rewarding when I win, but it's so frustrating when I don't. And so I think maybe I need to pick up something different for a little while. And so maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll participate in the F4. Look, I'm not going to be a threat for the championship, of course, but it's always fun because it's a very populated series.
All right, we can start talking events first with the big one, 2026 Sim Gaming Expo. It'll be September 18th through the 20th. Tickets are now officially on sale. Uh, I can go ahead and announce, unless something comes up, Jorge will be coming on the show next week to play catch up with everybody. And we have a few exhibitors coming
Let me know about the
we've
business card.
that have been announced. Some of them we remember from last year. In fact, one of them is a partner of ours.
Yep, got an admin box. We'll be back. So nice equipment. You run a league. Yeah, it's like a button box, but it's completely built for iRacing and complete race control. When you're doing league and hosted the races. So very good stuff. Uh, Symmetra, so sim racing products. I don't think they were there last year, but they do upgrades for like Fanatec Club Sports and stuff. So this is doing a lot of stuff to if you've got equipment and you want to upgrade it. We've also got special guest Mr. GT78. So let's see, sim racing content creator, doing Le Mans Ultimate, iRacing, and then Ultimate Ballista 2. So yeah, right into to Jorge at the Sim Racing Expo. We talked for about 10 or 15 minutes. So can't wait to talk to him again on the podcast. Super excited for some stuff that's coming. Be a lot of announcements coming in the next few months. So it's going to be another great show.
It sure is. I hope we get all the manufacturers that we're hoping to see and more. Like even the little I presume a small company like this last one you mentioned, Brad, that this makes parts for Fanatec and Thrustmaster pedals. But if you get 20 of those companies, that'd be great. And so like I did hear Jorge on another podcast recently in his interview over there, and he's got more space this time. So I really hope he can drive up that exhibitor count.
I'll have to take a look at the floor map and see how full it looks. We picked our spot. We're going to be right kind of in the middle of the hall. I've tried to pick a spot that would be nice and trafficy.
Yeah, so one of the biggest changes for those listeners that went last year, the whole esports, the competition area is going to be in a separate section of the building. So just going to be beside it, not out there in the middle. So that's going to make things, I think, a little bit easier and give a little more vendor space as an exhibitor space as well.
There was a noise problem too. I mean, there was a lot. It was pretty loud in there with everything together. So that'll help that for sure.
All right, we have an iRacing special event coming up, and since it's not an oval race, we actually have a poster for it.
Ooh, and it's in due time. This is June 19th through the 21st. Heck, we got this 3 weeks early.
Yep.
Watkins Glen 6, June 19th through 20th. It's going to be the regular IMSA cars. It's probably going to have the five start times because it's only a 6 hour race. I don't have any balance of power information or any of that because there's no link. It's just the poster.
Yeah, they haven't put anything in the forums yet. So, but want to get on the script since it's a pretty big one.
So you got a poster, but no actual post.
Yes, I found the posters. I was looking for the special events. I was like, oh, I'll go to the special events page. I'm like, oh, the poster's out already. It's like, check the forums. And then I'm like, yeah, I can't find anything in the forums yet. So that'll be
Okay.
up probably next week, is be my guess. We'll probably see the first post next week.
I was gonna say, I mean, how did they announce the event 3 weeks early? They've never done that.
Well, they didn't. I just found the poster. It's a great looking poster.
It looks good. So does the Majors 24, David.
Yep, that's coming up. They have, I know the last time I took a look, they had 18 splits. It's probably gone up from that on the number registered. I put in my pre-qualifying time earlier. Um, so this is basically, and if you're a new listener, this is a replacement for the iRacing's official Le Mans 24 because they can't have one. So they call it the Majors 24 and they run it. There is a fee, but they do a lot of live studing. The top four splits have broadcasts. The top six splits will have safety cars involved. And all the splits will have pseudo live adminning. If you are wrecked, you can protest it, and penalties can be given out. So for
during
all
the
that
race.
during the race, yes, you can protest it. You have to go through their website, Sim Racing Stewards, to upload the video and then put in all the information. And if it's pretty obvious, they will penalize the team. Usually something along the lines of a stop and go or a drive through. If it's pretty severe, they'll even throw in 30 seconds. We had a guy get hammered in the last Watkins Glen. Was it? Yeah, that was a solo race. It wasn't a team race, but we ran Watkins Glen in the majors last week, and somebody did an unsafe rejoin right in front of Christian Challenger, and he was apologetic, but Christian Challenger was not very accepting. Appropriately, as a matter of fact, the guy got a 30-second hold. If you are going to do this, you probably want to have your team put together pretty quick because pre-qualifying ends tomorrow. You have to pre-qualify to get your splits because it's done by time, not by iRating.
All right, next up is Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. live on YouTube. They have the Shop versus Shop series, and the idea here is it's a nationwide competition of 6 centers. So, like we talked about, where you go somewhere and have a drink and sit down and do some sim racing. Well, that center will take on 5 others for a total of 6, and they're having like a competition. It looks like fun. I mean, this is how you drive uh, people to come into your facility, and spend money. Is put up, an event with some prizes. They say there's prizes here for podium finishers. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, and so this is kind of taking the best of both worlds because you've got the online connection where you're racing people across different cities. It looks like Michigan, the Northeast, and Texas, pretty much, and maybe one in the Northwest. Based on their map, that is pretty cool. What else this week, Brad?
I got the nice NASCAR iRacing Series is at Michigan, as we said earlier. IndyCar iRacing Series is at Worldwide Technology Raceway or Gateway Oval. And then the Vintage Grand Prix. I know Mike was, I think, taking a shot at this. They'll be at Circuit Zolder Alternate this week.
I gave up. The races are way too long. I can't. I fall out of the seat.
Did you not put your belts on?
Well, I just figuratively fell out of the seat.
Okay, I was worried. We don't want you to get hurt,
I,
Mike.
I, I didn't fall down. It's just mental fatigue after a while, basically. I don't know what it was, but I can't do 2.5 hours of that. I can do
That's the
45
main.
minutes of it.
That's the main reason you have the belts too, right? Just in case you actually do fall out.
Well, no, it's just comfortable. It's just total. It's like, you wrap a baby in a swaddling blanket. It's kind of like that.
Baby in a swaddling blanket title idea.
Yep.
Podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Do mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate that. Get involved in the Discord discussion. We have a great Discord, a lot of people putting stuff up there and stuff to look at, all kinds of discussion. Of course, our show notes, iRacersLounge.com. We are also in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network, and you can get your shirts, hats, and so forth at iRacersLounge.shop.
So as I look at the top of the leaderboard for the fantasy this week, I can't think of a more ironic pairing of names for the winners I've ever seen.
All right, so rolled into Nashville this past week. Tied for first, we got Smiling Ninja and Fat Man Little Coat. Third was I'm Not a Professional. Fourth, Mike. Oh, Mike D. Now,
Oh, so
Mike,
those are
look
like
at
my titles, and
Mikey.
then here's my name. Okay.
Okay. We had two tied for fifth, Matt Rob 40 and Speed Tape Racer, and then five drivers tied for seventh. Connor Truman, Dollar Sense, Kalen, I Race Too Slow, and Twisted Spirit.
Now, wait, when's the last time you called my name out in the top 5 on one of these?
I'm just, is this like, was this your what you set for Daytona and you forgot about it?
No, so after I had to pick, it had no names in it when I went in there, and I think it was right before Nashville I said it. But I picked Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, and my garage is Ross Chastain. Well, that's how I got a fourth.
Sunday night race that was weather delayed and did not end till 12:30 Eastern time. I made the mistake of staying up for it. Um, yeah, we don't need Sunday night races. Not unless it's a holiday. The Coke 600's fine. It's on a Sunday because everybody's got Monday off. But NASCAR, we don't need Sunday night races.
East Coast NASCAR fans are so different than West Coast NASCAR fans. Like it wasn't that late for me, of course. It's only like around 10. And it's not as big a deal for me that it's a late Sunday night. But for you guys, you got to go to work the next morning. You got to get up and what, 5.5 hours later, and that's crazy.
Yes, I was dragged.
Yeah, I know they're worried about the heat, but you could start it at 4 instead of 6, and it be less unreasonable. Make it a transition race.
Something.
Yeah, again, they need to do something. So another weekend that was affected by weather, second weekend in a row. Nobody qualified. Everything had to start on the metrics. So, Denningham gets the win. It was a decent race. I mean, too many yellows, guys, having brake rotor issues. Again, this is the low downforce package, so you got the extra horsepower along with the reduced diffuser. So definitely saw a lot of brake issues. As many as we saw this past week. Be interesting when we get to Gateway because Gateway will be the same package, and we already have seen a lot of brake issues at Gateway in the past. So I expect it's probably going to be a lot of the same when we get there.
So what was the big story? We talked about Austin Dillon. Was he get penalized for dumping Brad K? Brad, you were adamant that it was a intentional dumping. I think I was a
I don't
little more of it was a racing deal.
no, I think he had the opportunity to not turn him, but he chose to 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 not do it. Again, I don't whether intentional. I don't think he went down there looking to wreck Brad. A choice was made, and he made the choice just to not lift. That's just what it is. Like and it happens. It's what it is. I mean, it happens in iRacing. Somebody cuts you off, or somebody does something, and you make the choice that they put you in another compromising position. What are you going to do? You're not going to back out. I mean, I've lifted 3 times every time you cut me off the corner. Number four, I'm not going to lift.
Now, we had a question in the chat as well on whether he would get penalized or not, and the answer is already set in precedent. He didn't push the button and say anything, so he's safe.
Yeah, yeah. If he'd pushed the button, it'd been a different story. I'm sure.
Like
I'm
like
certain.
Chris
So,
Busher did.
no, Ryan Priest.
Or was it, oh, Ryan Priest, he pushed the button, said something over the radio, and so he got penalized basically because he said it, right?
Pretty much.
Well, when they went to they appealed it, and the appeal counselor, whatever, said that NASCAR really couldn't show that he did it on purpose, and it was not conclusive on either side. Yet somehow the penalty and the points reduction still held up. I'm not quite sure how that works, but it's NASCAR math, I guess.
Look, so what's the message or lesson learned here? Don't push the button. Look, if Natalie Decker didn't push the button, she'd still have a job right
I don't think so.
now. But she's a good example of it. I mean, she pushed the button and blew up over the radio. And if she hadn't done that, it wouldn't have put her and her mess on the radar for everybody. And she would have kept it behind closed doors.
Well, it's the same in iRacing. I mean, all you got to do is push the button and say something stupid, and you can either get a vacation or you'll get your voice chat taken away for quite a while. So,
Yeah, it just makes you think twice about being careful what you say over the radio, even in iRacing.
Yep. So head to Michigan this weekend, Irish Hills. Um, don't expect the Chevrolets to probably be that strong. I think Ford's won like 9 out of the last 11, but I'm not sure. I'd pull it for a Ford. I would expect a Ford win. I think Toyota's got the upper hand on all of the mile and a halfs and probably the 2 mile tracks. So uh, probably be another Denny Hamlin win.
Who, well, he's stacking them up. Now, who should we like for the 8 car? I mean, I don't know. I like Austin Hill for
I think that's what you got right now. So I mean, I know a lot of people would like Jesse Love to be there, but too young and issues with the tobacco and the THC or whatever the some of the sponsor stuff is. I don't know who else you get. I mean, there's
They were
some rumors.
talking Noah Gragson.
Yeah, but um, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Austin Hill's your answer. I just don't. It's okay in Xfinity. He's not having a great year anyway, but I don't know. All right, so as we roll out and head into Michigan, looking at the overall points, we've got Connor Truman in first with 3,080 points. Second is Dollar Cents. Third, Cletus, 45. Fourth is Redneck Racer, 80. And then fifth is Canadrian.
Just a reminder, if it's hardware software and you want to look it up, you can start with Chad McNeese's Ultimate Hardware Spreadsheet. It's right here at the top. We include it in every show notes now. The first wheel that is probably linked in his spreadsheet somewhere in there is an Asher Racing. That is hard to say. Asher Racing wheel. I'm turning into Elmer Fudd. So tell us about it. It looks like it's an Instagram post.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's really about the ability to customize the Asher wheel to whatever you want is what it looks like. They're allowing the button set to be a color. This particular picture has a gold color, but then they have an engraving, I guess, or a printed logo that's right above the 2 buttons, right below the display that can be custom. And so they have a couple different pictures here that kind of show the different, looks.
Yep, you can upload your own logo or your artwork as well. So, yeah, it's kind of always been one of my things with the Asher wheels is, the like the McLaren wheel I like looks great, but I don't want a wheel with McLaren on it. But now it is nice to have the option if you are going to go down this route. Asher's nice, super nice build quality, but now you can customize it to whatever you want. So, um, did have the opportunity to try this wheel at the Sim Racing Expo, and sadly, I did not like the feel of it. So,
What, the
and William,
grips or what?
yeah, I just didn't feel it wasn't
Grips are
very
hard.
comfortable. Size of them, they were to me they were a little too small and they were too hard. And William said the same thing. So disappointed because this was on the one of the lists for maybe someday, but nope.
So Brad is saying he needs something larger to grab onto. Next up, Tick Drama, Mike.
Yeah, we found a website called techtrauma.com, and they have some various products available, mainly like DTU related, and they're in euros, so they come out of Europe, obviously. It looks like Italy is where they're from, but they got the I flag. They got little, I guess you'd call them RPM little bars, RPM bars. Um,
Eyebrows.
Eyebrows, that's what I was looking for. They have the little cup holders and phone holders and other 3D printed accessories that are kind of handy. What do you guys think? It's kind of nice to have these kind of stores, but I don't think I'll be buying
Yeah.
from Europe.
No, I was gonna say if you're in Europe, this is great, but between the VAT and or rather the whatever tariffs and shipping and everything,
So
which you
that first button box, Brad, if you click on it, this is the one that kind of caught my eye. This one's on pre-order. They call it the Core Control Panel, 549 euros, and it's kind of a unique looking button box. I haven't seen a design like this. It's got three round displays that show the feedback from what you're doing, like ABS, brake bias, traction control. Some very bright colored square buttons, and then a display right in the middle. It's kind of a weird layout.
Yeah, it's neat. And over top the display, you've got 10 buttons on top, 10 buttons on the bottom. We actually had this down a little bit further in the script. I should have moved it up. But yeah, your knobs for your brake bias, all that stuff, that's all rotating. And then looks like there's maybe two funky switches. So yeah, pretty neat. I agree. Haven't seen anything like this. So I'm sure we'll maybe see a little bit more. But yeah, it's neat.
This is on par of kind of the Heiskenveld button box. I mean, it's not this exactly the same,
No,
but no,
no,
but
no, no,
that one's
no,
way
no.
cheaper too, right?
And
$350.
yeah, it's cheaper and I think much more functionality.
Okay.
It's retirement time, Brad.
Yeah, we got an Instagram post here from Planet AI saying NVIDIA has officially retired the GeForce control panel after 20 years, ending one of the longest running software tools in PC gaming. So we started hearing about this, I guess, probably a little over a year ago that this is going to happen at some point. Um, it's going to move into into their app. Um, Again, if it works well, it's fine. I know that the NVIDIA app at one point was having causing all kinds of issues performance wise. So the old NVIDIA app, it's definitely brings back memories of like 1999 because
Right?
that's what
Just the
what it
look of
looks
it,
like.
right? Yeah, they it's carried over from long ago. Look, on my computer, I have both installed, the NVIDIA app and the NVIDIA control panel. I don't use control panel for anything really, but I do use the NVIDIA app to update the driver.
Yeah, but I don't think all the settings are currently in the app yet, are they?
No, I don't think so. You can still, like, if you want to change all those, yeah, uh, settings, I don't know what they do. Yeah, you have to do that in the old software, the one that's retiring. So yeah, you wonder how that's going to work, when people want to
Yeah,
adjust stuff.
it says although the classic control panel will still remain available for existing users, it has officially entered legacy status and will no longer receive major updates.
This is a running
The next
theme with NVIDIA, though, right? Trying to tell us they're not interested in PC gaming anymore.
Well, I don't like I said, this was I want to say it's probably been 18 months ago where I think we first started hearing about this.
Well, they're definitely not trying to cover it up anymore. But next, we have something that still is covered up.
Instagram post here from Cube Controls. I guess I'm assuming announcing a new wheel. Says the next level of control, Phoenix. So something powerful is about to rise. So have not heard anything else other than this, and I don't know. We'll see.
We love cube controls. That's the wheel I have, and you got one too, right?
I do. I do. I haven't decided if it's going to be sold yet or not. I originally planned to sell it, but then the wife's like, "You don't really have to sell that after you bought the new one." I'm like, "What? Really? Oh wow."
But will you ever use it is the real question.
Yeah, I like that wheel. I mean, I like the F core. I really do like that wheel a lot, but it wasn't a grid, and the grid was what I wanted ultimately. So that'll probably get sold.
Look, you just say, hey, I'm going to use the grid for GT racing, and I'll use the cube controls for open wheel racing.
I don't do open wheel
Oh,
racing.
Next up, we have a new shifter from Conspit, and this one has me actually excited.
me too,
Though
actually.
I know that we don't ever really use the H patterns anymore, but it when we were running Gen 4, it would have been nice to kick back into the H pattern if I could, or when I go back and get an MX5, it'd be nice to be in the H pattern mode instead of the sequential. So this is the new shifter from Conspit. and it has to switch modes. You just push a little button at the top, a little slider at the top. It even has an LED that you can attach, or a strip that can have some telemetry attached to it, though you're probably not usually looking at your shifter. One of the neat features as well, you can take an Allen wrench and change how resistant it is to movement. That's particularly useful in this in the sequential mode, and you can pull basically a trigger on it and automatically go into neutral.
Very mechanical looking. Doesn't look software driven in any way, shape, or form. I like that mechanical look and the click as he's moving from gears to gears. As far as a dual purpose shifter, this looks very functional and it looks better. Compare it to the Moza toaster that I call it, the big old thing. It's as big as a toaster. This looks so much more lean and mean and better.
Yeah, but this is not a active shifter like the Moza was supposed to be. This is just a conventional H pattern switch to sequential.
And it's still better.
Well, how much? I don't know if we know any more info though.
I don't
No,
think there was a price out yet.
they had it at the expo, but it was on a rally rig, and I'm just not into rally. So
Yeah, maybe somebody will have it on a different rig when we go to Chicago. I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't end up buying it unless the old Fanatec that I have craps out. But it's on my it's on my list now. All right, what name are we trying to guess, Brad?
So we got a couple of social media posts here from SimLab announcing a new wheel. So the GT wheel looks very similar to the grid. So as I think we shared last week and William shared, apparently something's happened between SimLab and grid. Don't exactly know all the details yet, but yeah, I guess they've got a new wheel coming out. Um, yeah, I'm not a fan of the look. I
No,
don't
me
like.
neither.
I do not like the rim there at the bottom. It looks very reminiscent to the this is the Fanatec. It's a Fanatec wheel, the one that was I think supposedly could go from what real car to the sim rig. Very similar to that. I think it's the BMW wheel. I just yeah I don't like the way it looks.
With the grip being the U shape, where the grips go along the bottom, there's no grips around the top. And then the top of the wheel almost looks like it's just cut off. I mean, right at the top, you can go right into the quick release, and it's like they just took a knife and just sliced the top of this thing off. I don't know, like it doesn't appeal to me at all.
Is there any function to that lower grip?
I don't know what it would be.
Would you ever
You know, you
grab
ever
it as
really?
you're twisting, maybe at Long Beach around
I
the hairpin, or
I don't think so because if you take your wheel off, you take your hand off in the middle of a turn on a Formula wheel type wheel or any of this type of wheels, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, for our listeners, if you don't look at the script, I mean, it looks from a button layout to the rotaries it looks very similar to the grid MPX wheel, um, which is nice, but yeah, it's just it does have the RPM LEDs on the top, so I'm really not a fan of those. But again, like I said from the expo last, a couple weeks ago, was jumping on rigs with screens and all that stuff, and I've never looked at any of it. So, but yeah, we'll see more. I hopefully, but yeah,
All right, we already covered it, but Tech Trauma, we got two posts here saying that the control panel that we were talking about is on pre-order now. I guess it was. Oh, this is European dating, isn't it? So it's available on June 1st, which was 3 days ago.
yeah, pre-orders open. So in the second post on here, there is a little video where you can you get a little bit more insight into the functionality of it. So, like I said, neat, just very different.
very expensive.
I'm boycotting the next one. I will not speak about it.
I'll take it. We have the PXN vectors that Brad was kind of raging about before because these are kind of like the copycat
Not
hardware.
it was not like a copycat.
It is a copycat. Okay, gotcha. And so they put out a post showing off their Vector X pedals and some of the features on this. Uh, three set, 579 euros. That is early bird price. Two pedal set, 459.
So Simpit put out a video, and he did an interestingly politically correct job of bouncing around the fact that they are a VRS copy.
And what was the conclusion?
Um, I mean, he wouldn't. He called them. He did everything he could to not say it, but say it as far as them being a copy. I don't know if there's. He said there's some minor differences in the design. I don't know if the VRS gas pedal is like this one, where the one thing that was kind of unique about it is that there's no shaft in the
It's
in.
exactly
Okay, so
like
the VRS does the same thing. Yeah. Then where there's no cylinder in the spring. There's no pole there at all.
correct. The new and the V2s that they were showing at the expo, that's they've added that back.
So
Ah,
does this put the Sim Pit and other, YouTube reviewers in a bad spot because they know, but they, like you said, you don't want to piss off the manufacturer either. It's a business.
well, he
Uh,
he's clearly stated that the fact that they let him use the pedals did not affect his review. I mean, and he reviewed the pedals. He just didn't really go into the fact that they stole intellectual property.
well, like he didn't say what Brad said. In other words, that hey, these are a carbon copy.
No, he did not.
Well, look, we're not afraid to just hash the truth because the truth is the truth. And look, if it is a carbon copy, it is an intellectual property ripoff from China, basically, and they're known for that. And so that it's just part of companies in China, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's just I think it's companies just again just do something original. I mean, why do
Right?
we
Make
have
your
to?
own stuff.
Why do we have to take someone else's? Somebody spent a lot of money and a lot of time engineering something, and then for somebody just to come in and go, okay, we can take all the same designs, we can use cheaper products, cheaper hardware,
Cheaper labor.
manufactured, cheaper labor, and all that stuff, and we can do the same thing in theory, and we'll sell it even less. I just don't like. Yeah, yeah.
We shall roll on. Is it futuristic, or is futuristic your style? We cover a lot of neat looking PC builds all the time, and for years now, PC design has almost become its own art form. All right, I can still remember the boxes in the '90s, the yellow boxes, and now we've got this thing. It's got a lot of fans. I'll give you that.
It's kind of a
Mike,
U shape. Weird. I don't know how to describe it, verbally, but yeah, U shape.
how would this hold up in Arizona, Mike?
Yeah, the dust would not work.
Well, if it's open like that, will a closed case just protect you that much better? The dust particles are not going to get in them.
It doesn't. I mean, my case is fully closed. Obviously there's fan vents, but I have so much air moving through it. I think there's 15 fans that the it the pressure there's a pressure difference, like, and it somehow is keeping the dirt out. But I've opened it up and it's been very clean inside. Now the filters on the outside have been caked, but inside it's good.
About the only artistic design I could be conned into, if I ever had the space, would be one of the fluid cooled ones that are basically dipped in
Liquid
oil.
cool or
Not like the whole thing sits
submerged.
in an aquarium. Yeah, it sits in an aquarium with a non-conductive
That
oil.
would be cool.
Be very efficient. All
All right,
right.
Mike, what's NVIDIA up to, Mike?
Well, I follow Nvidia very closely. I own stock in their company. I've made some money off of it. But Jensen, the CEO guy, he did a thing this week where he put out the new Nvidia chip powering by Windows PC, Windows 11, or whatever the next version of Windows will be called. And so there's going to be laptops, there's going to be Microsoft Surface units, and there's going to be Dell desktops, including gaming computers by Dell. So look, in the sim racing, we're using Intel chip or we're using an AMD chip, and that's it. Is this a third chip that we can use?
So we're going to move. We're going to no longer use NVIDIA GPUs. We'll just use processors. That makes perfect sense.
Well,
The
I
world
don't
will
know how
turn
this would work.
upside down.
I had one of these interviews I read said something along the fact like the laptop that's powered by the NVIDIA chip will have the same graphics as a 3070 graphics card, Radeon graphics card, right? So I don't know if that
Except,
means the chip has it in it or if they have a separate card. I don't know.
So it's I guess we're not clear on are they turning them to CPUs or are they just
I
integrating
I
a
read this
graphics
as
card?
their new CPU. You're not using an Intel. You're not using AMD. You're going to have a different. You're going to have an NVIDIA. I would assume an NVIDIA motherboard with an NVIDIA CPU
with
running
integrated
Windows.
graphics.
Right. And can you add a 4090 or what a 5090 onto it? I don't know. Maybe.
I definitely don't want to run a 3070.
Right. So more to come
Well,
on that, but we'll see.
you're also generally not sticking big graphics cards in a laptop.
Yeah, but if desktops are the ultimate goal, so I don't know. I'm just the whole AI and it's just I'm just I'm over Nvidia right now.
So we've not been hearing a lot about SimMagic lately, but there was apparently some controversy recently, Brad.
Yeah, we got a video here from Inside Sim Racing. Um, so Darren Ganji's talking about this. So when they released the Zeus wheels, there was some community backlash regarding confusion and then the need to purchase separate extra peripherals to use the new Zeus lineup and the Magic Dash. So SimMagic has adjusted its packaging and pricing. So customer refunds and shipping customers who already placed pre-orders through SimMotion, and that's a company that Darren owns, have been automatically refunded for the individual peripherals they originally had to add to their cart. Pre-orders should start shipping soon. But going forward, the included peripherals, so the necessary connection peripherals will be bundled directly with the products. And then as far as Evo base owners, if you buy just the Magic Dash, the AirLink is now included. So the AirLink is what connects, I think allows you to mount the Magic Dash to the wheelbase. So that'll be included. You don't have to buy that separately. Alpha owners, if you buy the Magic base, it does require the Mag Dock will be included for the 199. So there are some price adjustments. SimMagic lowered the retail price in the wheel packages by roughly $30 to account for the changes. So, for instance, Formula Wheel with the dash dropped from 699 to 669. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times we have instances where new stuff comes out and manufacturers kind of drop the ball and don't really think about what goes into having to get what you need. So glad to see that they did kind of step up and listen to the community.
Look, if you buy a nice fancy wheel, their best one, you would think it comes with everything you need to make it work, right? And if you're not savvy enough to realize, oh, I need a dock and I need this and I need that. Look, this when you were speaking, Brad, I was thinking a SemiCube. You go buy a
Absolutely.
SemiCube. I mean, you got a laundry list of other stuff you have to buy to go with it,
Yeah, and none of them are cheap.
right? And so I like it when the manufacturers look, it's a package. You can't buy a semi-cube active brake without the switch and this other little box and this thing because you need all this stuff to make it work. So why are you selling it separately? It's stupid.
All right, Mike, you should probably take the ambient lighting one.
Yeah, I actually installed this. Dan Suzuki put out a video this week called the Fully Automatic Ambient Light Plug-in. And he goes through how to get it. He's got a link in the description of his video to a GitHub. I don't remember the gentleman's name who actually built it, though.
Bruno Silva.
Yeah, Bruno Silva. And so I followed the instructions. I downloaded it, installed it, got it in my Sim Hub as a plugin, and ran it. And I really didn't have much to configure. I watched Dan's video, doing the things that he was doing on screen. It took me maybe a minute to make sure it was configured right. And that's it. I jumped in a race, and guess what? The ambient lights worked just fine on this new plugin. I didn't have to go draw a square around part of my dash or this or that. The idea behind the plugin is it's automated. It'll automatically look at what you're seeing when you're racing and automatically adjust the ambient lightings accordingly.
Yeah, I downloaded it, installed it as well. So what it does is it creates a mask of your cockpit, and that's what it's using. Um, I like it. I think it's got some room for improvement. Daniel Newman Racing has also come out with one that they were working on along the way. Um, but personally still think the original one where you're setting the when you're setting the boxes up by car, and for me, I use the dashes for where I pick up the light. I think that works better for daytime. I think this works better at nighttime. So I'm hoping to see some improvements in this. But look, it's definitely a lot easier. Like Mike said, for me, I have what, four Govee lights, so it took a little bit longer than a minute to set up, probably about 15, 20 minutes. It's good. It's good. Don't say I'm not saying it's good. I just think probably needs a little bit more tweaking. But yeah, this makes things 100% easier.
Well, I think for the iRacer who doesn't know how to use SimHub and you're not good with software, this makes it super easy, I think, to get ambient lighting. All you have to do is buy the Govee lights and a way to mount them, and then get the software, and then boom, you're up in business.
Yeah, they have a nice guide, step by step setup in list in the app as well, in the SimHub plugin that kind of walks you through what to do. So, like I said, I've been happy. I used it. I think I used it last night. Yeah, I used it last night for NIS, and it worked fine. But like I said, I do like the night lighting standpoint. That looks really good.
Well, Brad, what do you think about damn racing simulators?
That's exactly the way that I said this when I was working on the script. So Instagram post here from Dem Racing Simulators. So this is driven by passion, colored by Italy. This is a kind of like a half monocoque cockpit. Um, yeah, there's no use. I have absolutely no use for these things, none whatsoever. And I don't even want to go and see how stupid expensive it is. I refuse to even do it.
Yeah, it's a
I don't even think I want to
commercial
sit in
looking.
it.
Yeah, I don't think a person would buy one of these, would they? Maybe if you have a sim center and you have you need 5 or 6 of them in a row, so
Man,
people can
half the
race.
people who go to the sim center probably won't fit in it.
I was gonna say, and it cost them. It's probably there's no way you could go in there and buy 5 of them.
All right, let's move on. Spend
Well,
Mike's money. Well,
spending.
I thought
Yep.
about buying one of these.
I was half tempted too. My biggest con on this is I already have to be careful not to drink too much before a long race, just so that I don't have to piss when we still have 100 laps to go.
So we got a post here from Sim Racing Craftsman, and he said the drink box is now on pre-order. Okay, he developed this product. He's got a video It's got a drink hose. He's got a little hose that goes into his Coca-Cola can so he could drink his Coca-Cola. And it's got a button that, and when he pushes the button, it dispenses the drink through the hose.
So watching this Instagram post, I
Our
was
sim
actually
racing
recently
hydration
at
unit.
the Nürburgring, and they installed this in a GT3 car with a Coke can to see if it worked.
That's what he said. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that.
I'm out.
I like that the button has a little cover over it, even so you don't accidentally turn on the drink.
You know, the cup that I have, like with the straw and stuff, like David's gonna pick his up here in a second. It works fantastic, and it's always there. I got a little cup. I got a cup holder. I have no issues.
But you'll have to take your hand off the wheel, though. You can't do
That's what
that.
cautions are
You,
for.
you, you have
Cautions
to
and pit
take
stops.
Oh.
you have to take it off the wheel to push the button.
That's a good point, David. Yeah, Mike.
Oh, no, I don't need this. I got a drink holder. I can reach down and pull the cup to my lips. It's okay.
You could just get a long straw and just keep hook it up to a mouthpiece and just put it in your mouth and boom, you're set. Just anytime you wanna drink, just suck.
Yeah, just go get a piece of tube, like a 3 foot piece of tube, Mike. You can make your own.
Okay, now look, I'll take this one because this one's got me raging a little bit too. SimiCube has put out a post saying, guess what? We got Tuner 3.1, their new paddock software, and they've added, guess what? Cloud profile sharing is now native in their software. So go back in time to last summer, they took out the cloud sharing. Like you could go in there, I could go in there and search for Daniel Morad and download a driving profile for my steering wheel. Well, that went away, and now it's back finally. So it went away for almost a year. I don't know why, but it's back. I tried it. I the other yesterday, and the window that's where they bring up the all the different profiles that you pick from, they have it in a smaller window, and the fonts are big, and it's just really you can't even read the entire name of the profile. They only show you the first several characters of it. I could go on and on. I mean, it's just not a good piece of software. And then so the other thing I'm going to rage about is they take all this spring to build this to give us back something that we already had. Where is my telemetry force feedback for my firmware on the SC2 Pro like we were told that we were going to get? Where is it?
They're
Where's
they're they're
June?
work they're working on
It's
it.
June.
I keep up on the Discord. The plan is to eventually do that. Um, that's the plan. So I haven't upgraded yet, just because after going through the Discord and seeing some concerns and some issues, I was
Did
like,
they
yeah,
say
I'll
what
wait.
I said or
Yeah, there's been some chatter about that, so
okay.
that's why I haven't upgraded yet. So I'm happy with the profiles I'm using right now. So I'm like, yep, until I know it works perfectly, yeah, I ain't touching it.
Yeah, not happy with SemiCube on this.
Well, the next one we can now say that we have sat on the same rig, or at least the same type of rig that Carl Edwards has sat on. This is a Instagram post. NASCAR Hall of Fame approved. Carl Edwards, the NASCAR champion, and sat on a DDX Prime. And they have a quote on the post saying, "When you come over the top of the hill, you feel your car lift up. It's insane. It's so freaking cool."
Yeah,
Now, he's been out of the car so long, he probably forgot what it feels like.
we covered. I think we had a video on here, probably last summer or so, with him in one of the rigs. Maybe in last fall, but
He was in the
yeah,
Chevy rig or something, right? Or the Ford.
something. Yeah, he was. I mean, it was a driven dynamics rig, but yeah. So just a little publicity there. Now that he's a NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Look, I love Carl, and so when he says something like that, I take it to the bank. It's a pretty cool little quote, um, which you know just tells you why you want motion. You want to feel that little lift over the jump, or that lift as you go cresting over the hill. That most sport.
All right, Brad, how did they get a picture of you on Instagram washing your rig?
This is not me, but hey, got to keep it clean, man. This is from Next Level Racing, so got an Instagram post here. Says my freaky neighbor's outside. What is he doing? So we got a video of a guy who's dragged his Next Level rig out into looks like a parking lot. I'm guessing it's at a house or an apartment or something, and he's hosing down the rig. So um, yeah, I don't think you need to go this far. I think this came up out of the Discord channel. Once a week I take the old Swiffer duster to mine, and she gets a nice thorough wipe down. So because it's got to stay clean, I can't deal with a dusty rig.
What about rust? I mean, is that a problem? I mean, this is anodized metal, right? So that probably wouldn't be a problem.
Uh, but there's scratches and everything else. It's aluminum, so
And there's those hollow grooves through the metal that could retain water, right?
yeah, it's a no go for me. Get your Swiffer duster, a little vacuum with a brush, you'll be good.
All right, we've got Duswaswa doing a review of the Simagic Alpha Evo Pro. And even though he had criticisms, he still recommends it.
The criticism is compared to other manufacturers' wheelbases, the stated Newton meters that the SimMagic Alpha Evo Pro puts out is doesn't feel the same, and it's like it's less than what like their 18 he says feels like a 15, and so that's the feedback on it. But if you're okay with the 18 feeling like the 15, the force feedback feels good, and like you said, he still recommends it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for most people, somewhere in that 10 to 12, maybe 15 Newton meters is kind of the sweet spot. So, yeah, I mean, look, again, it's not a super expensive wheelbase. It comes at a very good price point, and for most consumers, I think this is probably one of the better buys.
And there's a little interesting additional piece of information on here. Because Lawrence gave the critical feedback, Symmetric actually sent him another wheelbase to test. He got the same results, and they said instead of having him return it, they agreed to let him do a giveaway. So to do that, you have to comment on. Is it on his video?
Yes.
The, you have to have the number of have the to win, your comment needs to have the least number of thumbs up likes. Lawrence suggests scrolling further back to older posts to leave your comment so it receives less visibility. That's interesting. And you need to comment Potato Nation.
On SimMagic's feed and SimMagic's Instagram. Yeah, so cool giveaway. Somebody will get it.
Got one more, Brad.
Yes, we got a new shifter from Isotech. We saw this a while back, and
Good price.
these were, yeah, they were at the Sim Racing Expo. I didn't touch anything Isotech, but yeah, I mean it's coming in at a 200, around the $220 for an H pattern and sequential. I don't think this is anything revolutionary when it comes to mechanics or anything. It looks same style, same branding as their wheelbases. So imagine the wheelbase, what that looks like. Just turn it up on its end and shove a shifter in the end of it, and now you know what it looks like.
Can we
I'm
turn
not a
off
fan.
the LED strip if I don't want to see that bright
I
LED
would
strip?
I would hope so. I'm not sure why they're so fascinated with LED strips. Don't understand that at all, but
So
yeah.
2009.
But it's everything Ace all the wheelbases, all that stuff has the has the LED strip on there. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I just don't like the way most of their stuff looks.
Results. Let's talk our racing results. We'll start with the NASCAR iRacing Series Open Friday at Nashville. I got a nice P7. Had a pretty good race, had a couple of moments, but pretty much kept the car under me. This time we had green flag stops, and I finished a respectable P7 after not finishing an oval race for almost 3 weeks. My buddy Justin Pearson, he won. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. They tried to do the best to wreck me, but we came out with the victory. Had to drive my little heart out for this one. Been on a roll lately with a 600 last week too. BW, thanks for the paint. It looks a lot better with those win stickers on it. And Mikey, thanks for the support on the box in that race. Misha KFB. Look, I was able to watch Justin's run from the spotter box at the end there, and he had a guy go at him and try to wreck him, and he was able to not wreck and hold it under him and go on to win. And he made some really good moves that I said, dude, you look like Kyle Busch out there. And it was kind of a touching moment. Tony Rochette, P35, wrecked out early. Some bull. Brad, P6.
Yeah, much better race than the Wednesday race. I ran the top five most of the race, but a late caution, and then I just kind of missed the adjustments. Ended up costing me a top five that had going if it had gone ahead and gone the way, had run itself out. But the I'm seeing a pattern that's resuming. The aggressive driving just continues to ramp up. Double digit cautions aren't fun, and it continues at Michigan as well, unfortunately.
And then David, P wrecked out.
Yeah, this is one of those just running where I could, somewhere in mid pack, and up front they start wrecking, and I try to dodge it, but can't. And wheel damage. Ended up being like 7 minutes of damage near towards the end of the race. The wheel was at like 6 o'clock, and I ran a couple of laps, and it just wouldn't go, so I parked it.
Then Sunday Open, Tony Rochette, P28, same song, different dance, caught in a wreck. David, P13.
Yeah, this one I was running about a top 15 car, and then for some reason went on a run that started with about 70 to go. I just went backwards. It was like I got a bad set of tires or something. People who had not been outpacing me were just flying by. I felt to like 25th, but then all that stuff that Brad was talking about started happening, and I just happened to dodge it all this time and made it all the way back to 13th just by other people breaking out.
All right, then Wednesday Open, NIS Michigan. I Yeah, nice P3. I'm happy with the podium finish. I had a good run coming up through the field a couple different times. Ran top five, took the lead actually with 20 to go. Was leading with just a few to go, and the guy in the bottom and second came up into me, put me to the back. I was 20th. Marched my way back up to finish P3. If I just had a few more laps, I think I could have won it. But it was a great podium finish, and what a recovery. Tony Rochette, P6. Been looking forward to this race all year. Home track. And what an up and down through the field 3 times. Leading laps, fun time. Slowed for a wreck and got ARCA braked in the rear. Through the field first time was arrow slammed into the wall of Velcro and lost, title idea, wall of Velcro. And lost tons of spots, which was through the field again. This is where I got the lead and ended up losing it out of 4 in the grass, saving it. To the back I went. Through the field third time, was battling the lead. Had the lead down the back into 3 on the white. It was just hit by an a-hole, and it just about wrecks me. I don't think I wanted to punch a baby seal more. I had a fire set. We'll try it again. Also, shout out to Jeff Kemp for a podcast love in the race. Thanks, Jeff. David, P20.
Yeah, I have a target, man. It's because I tend to be a mid pack runner in the race, and that's where the wrecks tend to happen, and they happen in front of me, and I can't avoid them. So 7 minutes of damage. This time it was quite a bit earlier, um, but because cautions just kept happening, I got it down to 20 seconds of damage, with 10 laps to go, and even took only 2 tires, I think, on that last pit stop, so that I could fix more damage, and made it up to 20th.
All right. And then Brad, P9.
Yep, P9. After starting P9, another week of guys just kind of, I think, really driving over their heads. I mean, we had 12 cautions. So collected in 2 wrecks. Both of them would send me to the rear. Would fight my way back to the front. We looked like we were going to have a kind of nice green flag run to the end. It got up to about a P7 and just kind of bottleneck there. was about 4 tenths of a second off the guy ahead of me. Chris Waldron was in fifth at that point, and I just neither one of us could get anywhere. Just stayed like locked in 4 tenths off. We pulled away. I mean, top seven, we pulled away. Gosh, we pulled away by like 2 seconds from the rest of the field. But we ended up with a yellow with under 10 to go. I'd restart P7, but I got bottled up coming off 2 on the last lap, so they were 3 wide ahead, and I just got stuck. I couldn't really go anywhere. I did try to regain the spots coming through 3 and 4, but had such a shallow entry into 3. I just couldn't get the power down, coming out. But look, the Premier Racing sets, I think they're really good this week. We just need some longer runs to kind of let things play out. I don't know. I guess I'm just not aggressive enough on short runs. Really struggled losing a couple spots every restart. That's probably more of a me thing than a set thing. But the set's really good on the long run. We were kind of just rolling things down earlier in the race, and then,
Want to go out to
well, I'll
eat?
get into the A Open.
All right, and then Thursday Open NIS Michigan. David, nice P3.
Yeah, this was a very stolen result, but I'll take it. I actually got caught up. Not I didn't get wrecked this time, but I got so low. I had to get so low and so off speed when somebody got turned sideways that I fell from like 10th to 25th. Um, and then I worked my way up around 18th. Was kind of struggling to get back up. It's hard to pass with the way this car handles. Caution comes out with 13 to go. I take 2 tires. Come out in like 6th place. There's a bunch of repeated cautions, a couple of them right in front of me, but I managed to survive them all, including somebody taking themselves out or taking 2 of the leaders out at the very end, and snuck up to P3.
All right, A Open, Brad, P17 Michigan.
Yeah, so ran Monday night just to try to get a taste of what Michigan was going to be like. Um, A Open's typically much better than NIS. Only had 3 yellows, so you can tell you right there, 70 laps versus 100. You have 3 yellows. We had 12 with 30 more laps. If that doesn't tell you how ridiculous the racing has gotten in NIS, I don't know what will. But ran towards the front almost all the race. But we get wrecked on the white flag by one of the usual suspects. So, go in, take the white flag. And I think I was didn't run a 10th or 11th. And he got inside of me. So I gave him the bottom lane. I'm like, okay, you're in. You're in my quarter panel. I gave him the bottom lane. So I'm running second lane, and then just drives in like I'm not even there. Just whoop, come right on up the track. So you know who you are. It's just super frustrating. I guess you just got to race people the way they race you, and that's all there is.
Ringmeister. This week it was a GT4s. I was in the Aston Martin Vantage. First start, P2. Started 10th, quickly got up to 5th, got as high as 3rd before I T-boned a guy. I had damage, soldiered on, and finished P2. Next start, P3. Started first, made several mistakes, including spinning on my own as the leader, but still fought for the podium and made it back up there, P3. Next start, started second, stayed with the leader. We swapped back and forth for most of the race before I screwed up and wrecked out D and F. Next one, I started first, wrecked out while leading in lap 1, completely missed the corner, killed the wall. Next one, I started first. I was squirrely a few times. I lost the lead legit, fell back to second. We had a good 3-car battle going, but then I just blew it and killed the car. I missed the corner. Not a fan of these GT cars. I think I'm going to park it for the week with this good finish of a P2. And then I tried, I'm going to do one more the next day, and I did it, and I started first. I made a few mistakes. Did keep it on the road, though, and finish P2. I can't win in the GT4. I'm done. So it's week 12. We got week 13 coming up. We're going to take a break. But I won almost every week. I think I won all but 3 out of 12. Grassroots Racing, GTP GT3 League Road America Endurance Race, William Westbrook, P1, winner, winner, chicken dinner, finished the season off on a high note. It was either feast or famine this season. From the beginning, it looked like a three-horse race, qualified third, and ran there until Weaver had issues. Spent the next bit swapping the lead with P1, was able to get around for good on the second pit stop and brought it home from there. One of my favorite tracks, never disappoints. GT3 Pro class saw a bit of participation decline this season, so if you know some friends that are in the bracket, please send them my way. Great schedule next season, can't wait to start. Brad, P. I suck.
Yeah, so this is the first race I've been able to run with the league in quite a few weeks. Between vacation and work schedule, it just I was out a lot on Tuesday night. So, uh, first of all, I loaded the wrong set for qualifying, so that was an issue. I did have a good last lap going, but dropped a wheel off, so that one got thrown out. So start the race, and we're on the pace lap, and I looked down and realized I'd underfueled the car, um, not thinking it's an endurance race, and thinking more of a sprint race. So it's like, oh, what else can you screw up? I got through the first stop and got back up to about P10 when I lost it coming out of Canada corner with about 35 minutes to go or so. Was coming up, getting ready to do a pit stop. Just uh, just lost it. I was really don't know what happened. I think I had a bad entry, and I've been taking it in the third gear, and I think I dropped down to second, and then when I came off the corner, when I throttled up and in second gear, I just looped it, but hard nose in the wall. But really never had a chance to squeeze this season. Like I said, work and stuff just been a bunch. But yeah, William said the season, the schedule looks really good for next season. So looking forward to take a little break and then get back at it.
All right, and then Elbows Out Racing League, William P4, Road America. The pace of the top 6 or 7 drivers in the pro class here is truly insane. Any of them can win a race in a given night. Qualified 6, got to 5th, and second to 5th literally rode within 1 second of each other for 40 minutes, even with traffic. Differing pit strategies separated us a little in the second stint. Came out of the pits 3 seconds back of third and ran him down with 10 to go. Tried to move into Canada with 3 laps and just went slightly too deep, tapped him in the rear and spun him around. Knew it was my fault, so I waited on him to get going, and we both lost a spot to 5th. He missed his braking marker into 5 on the last lap, so I gained a position and brought home 4th, finished 3rd in the championship. Can't wait for the next season here either, as the schedule is just as good as GRR. And then majors, 2 hours at the Glen. David P4.
Yeah, I think the field ended up being 10 prototypes, and then we had the whole IMSA field. And yeah, I was pretty happy with this result. It's a tough league. I'm one of the lowest rated road course drivers there. And in this particular case, it's a car and a track combination that worked pretty good for me. I was outrunning guys with 3,000 I rating. And I thought it was actually pretty ironic that there was somebody else had a problem with an LMP2 driver, and somebody came on and said people with that I rating shouldn't be allowed in the prototypes. And it was like, dude, I finished fourth and didn't cause anybody any problems. It's just I don't have their pace. But yeah, pretty excited to finish there for as we get close to the end of the major season.
Okay, and that brings us to final thoughts, Brad Wren.
Looking forward to honestly week 13. Um, Ready for a little break. Excited for the build. I'm hoping that we're gonna get the multi-class splits. I know there's some concern there. I guess they're going to do some tests during week 13, but I really hope that if we get that, I think it's going to help a lot on the roadside, especially in IMSA, so we don't end up with it's a lot of tomfoolery that gets played when you're in the slower classes. I know GTP guys don't experience that, but it's kind of frustrating. You don't really get a good race start, but yeah, I'm gonna probably do a little cleanup, straightening up, tighten up on the rig next week since it's a down week. Um, but yeah, looking forward to next season. So Week 13s, I know we'll start to see the people will be crying on the forums that, oh my gosh, I can't use my rig because it's week 13. But everybody needs a break, man. Get outside, take a break.
Look, it's a
But
very
you
natural break too.
and that's not true that you can't use your rig. There's all kinds of things going on.
I know, but there's certain people that will start to complain because their series is not running anymore, and they should get iRacing takes money from them. It's just like Laguna Seca. It's nothing but a bunch of crybabies.
Well, they can tweet about it on their $1,000 phone.
Bingo.
All right, David Hall, final thought.
I'm hoping for a good result at the majors. I'm looking at the pre-qualifying results because we split it on time, and only my pre-qualifying attempt is showing up on the site so far. One of the teammates that we're borrowing from B Roy's paddock team basically ran the exact same time, and we're currently ranked 307 out of 344. So we'll be towards the bottom of the splits. We'll see. Tom's got to put in the time tonight as well. We'll be running it with just three of us, so it's going to be a night of little sleep. Fortunately, I don't have to drive NIS now on Sunday, so I'll be sleeping in.
You're happy with the P3?
Yeah, and I had a result Wednesday as well. So if I run another result, it'll dilute my P3 in our Tifosi Cup.
All right, very good. My final thoughts. The agony of defeat and the thrill of victory. We've heard this from ABC Wide World of Sports when I was a kid, and it really has become a motto of mine personally, especially in the Ringmeister at the Green Hell. Man, the ups and downs are tremendous. Like I think when you get to a point where you're winning every week or winning multiple times a week, and then you get into that next car the next week, the pressure is on. You're like, man, I should be able to do this. I did it last week. I did it the week before. And it's that pressure combined with wrecking. It just blows my mind. I'm like throwing stuff around. I'm stomping. I'm throwing my fist up in the air. I'm cussing at the dog, you name it. And I was not a happy camper. But look, if you didn't have those kind of emotions, you wouldn't be doing it. That's why we do this. It's to win. And with that, we'll see you on the track later. All right. Title ideas. We got 3. I like number 2.
I like all three of them.
Okay. Video stopped. Vote. All 3 is not a vote.
I said 2.
What?
Oh, you said 2. Okay. Well, that's it. 2. We have two
Yeah,
twos.
I was abstaining, I guess,
Okay.
because especially after he said two, I could vote for seven. It won't matter. So I'll vote for number 8.
All right. Good show, guys. I need to eat. I'm starving. So I'm going to bail.
Yep.
Later, later.
I'll get this updated. Night, guys. Good show.
See ya.